Well, there's pressure, for all kinds of reasons. Unfortunately, we had the passing of Maury Chaikin, and Maury was such a great, anchor for us and a great, almost crutch for us. He was a leader. When he passed away, already, we all knew we had to step up our game. And fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to call it, last year he wasn't able to be in every episode because he was ill, and so we kind of had almost a test run. And so this year, we already knew we had to raise the bar, and then when we were very fortunate enough to win the Gemini, that just raised it even more. So, we all stepped up our game, and the writers stepped up their game. I think this year has some of our, if not the best, some of the best scripts we've ever had. Just a lot of fun. It's been such a fun year. There's a ton of heart this year, and a lot of good humor. They have a way of finding humor in tragedy, and they did that a lot, especially in the early part of the season. Yes,
Yeah.
immensely. I mean, we all heard way back, way back when a couple months ago we had a conference call, and it was such a surreal thing because I think at that time we were a month away from shooting, and we had to be pushed obviously, and we were all in different parts of the country. I live in Montreal, the writers were in Toronto, Wendell's in Los Angeles, Nancy's in Winnipeg, Ben's in LA, Ben's in Vancouver. So we were all there was nothing to grasp yet. It was kind of like, well, we couldn't mourn together. And so when we got here, we sat at our first read through. It was a very surreal moment. We all got up, and Mark McKinney made a very nice speech, and yeah, when we started shooting, it felt, one of the best mourning processes it could have been. Was to actually mourn him in the show and out of the show, and I think I can stand for all the actions we say that those episodes, especially, where he's passed away, was some of the easiest acting we've ever done. Just the sad, because it was real.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of acting. It was very real, and it was sad, and it was a lot of fun. And I think Maury would have loved that. Sheldon in season one was always a bit of a square. He wasn't a rule breaker. He's a genius. He's got an IQ probably higher than his entire family combined. And slowly over the course of the seasons, he's he's bent the rules a little more. He hasn't become a bad person at all. He's still a great guy. But it's interesting because especially even this year, you see him tempted a lot by kind of the darker side of things. He goes through a bit of a journey. This year's especially an emotional roller coaster, and I can relate to that. I mean, I was never much of a rule breaker, bender. All through high school, I never once got drunk. I never once got high. I don't know if this is appropriate, but that wasn't my thing. And I can kind of relate to Sheldon how he's changed, and you go through new experiences and stuff. So me and him were very similar in that way. I think I'm probably out of everybody the most similar to my character. Ben constantly reminds me about that, how I'm not acting. Joking. No, and yeah, so I can relate to Sheldon on all accounts. Ben is truly my brother, inside and out of the show. A wonderful friend, one of the sweetest guys in the world. He's got a great heart. He's been there for me all through the first 3 seasons. If there's something wrong, professionally or personally, he's a great guy. But he'll never admit that. We have a great rapport. As soon as he walks in the building, we start the back and forth, the back and forth, the back and forth. The thing is, Ben is much, much more intelligent than his character in real life. And so he's much quicker off screen. It may seem like Sheldon gets the better of him on screen, but off screen could not be more opposite. He's way too quick for me. And we have a great time. And yeah, he really is my brother. There's never any hard feelings. We love each other. We hang out all the time. I adore him. Yeah, we have a great time. Wendell, oh God, Wendell knows all. I can always go to Wendell for advice. First of all, she's amazing. She's an amazing actress, especially this season and last season. She really got the material to really show what she can do. And off screen, we're very close. I always, if I'm not shooting, I go and sit in Wendell's trailer and we talk for hours. I can talk to her about anything. Wendell knows all, in my opinion. So that's me and Wendell. I adore her. Brooke, who plays my love interest, Miriam, she's like a little sister to me. We adore each other. We tease each other. We have a great time. An incredible actress who's grown so much. And Tyler Johnston, who plays Danny Lube. I probably have grown much closer to him this year, funnily enough, because of the way we were stationed in the hotel. His room is right across from mine, so I see him every day. He's become one of my best friends. We're always hanging out, terrible staying up till like 3 in the morning, just talking and hanging out. And Nancy Sorrell, who plays my aunt, I go to her house and play with her kids. She's wonderful, a gorgeous woman who's fun to be around. The entire cast, there's not, I can't say there's ever been one person I've ever had any problems with. It's been truly a blessing from start to finish with everybody. It really is like a family environment, especially this year for me, because it's the first year that I've come here without a parental guardian, because I finally turned 18. I'm 19 now, but the last 2 seasons I was 17 and 16. I always had to have my parent with me, so this year I kind of came on my own for the first time, which was a huge adjustment, because it's like, for these 3 months, you've got to kind of create almost a new life here, with new friends and thing, and they really have, Wendell's very much treated me like a great friend and son. Ben's been like a brother to me. Tyler's been a great friend to me. Brooke and Nancy and all these people. So it really is like a family, and it just makes it so much tougher when you've got to say goodbye and, wait to hear about the possibility of a 4th season. We saw some very interesting things this year with him and Miriam. A lot of back. It might be interesting to see, to see him, to see him and her, where that could go, without spoiling anything about what happens at the beginning, in the middle, and the end of this season. I'd obviously like to see him and Danny Lube still be friends, the 3 of them. A lot of stuff with the trio. I have a lot of fun with them, and the family. I wouldn't mind seeing Sheldon, go dark for a bit. He kind of does do that this year for a couple of episodes, but it's fun to see a character lose himself in the dark and kind of have to find his way out. And so yeah, I just like to take him to new places all the time, and they've been really good with that. Season 1, he was on the top of the class team. Season 2, him and the guys were in a band. And in season 3, we have a new arc for him that was a lot of fun, different. I got to work with an entire new cast of people that I got along with so well who left a couple days ago, and that was very sad. So just as long as he keeps going to new places and new adventures for the character. I knew that stupid nickname everybody says Winterpeg, which I took with a grain of salt. I mean, I didn't know anybody that had lived here. I'd heard that it was, it was in the middle of Canada. It was very cold. But having been here for 3 years, it literally is my second home. Whether that's necessarily a good or bad thing, I don't know. But it is like my second home, and I love the people here. I have a great time. It gets a little cold in the winter, but it gets cold in Montreal. Dressed warmly, and it won't be too much of an issue. I really do like it here. I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, if we ever had to move due to budgetary or whatever reasons to like Toronto or Montreal, I'd be happy that I was closer to home, but it would be really heartbreaking because, it is like a second home, and it really is a character in the show, which everybody keeps saying. It's something we can't lose, and especially like for somebody like Ben, who's always wearing the skin-tight leather jacket, and he has to go outside, and they tell him, act cold. He goes, okay, no problem. It really is a character, and it just adds another layer to all our characters, Sheldon's got so much going for him, whatever, and he's stuck in Winnipeg, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, but I guess for somebody of his genius, you expect him to go and do great things. So it really is another character of the show, and I wouldn't have it any other way than to shoot here. It's a character that's the best and worst thing that could happen to any of these people. It's a character that I think, the show, we advertise it more as a negative thing, stuck in Winnipeg sucks, there's no opportunities here. But deep down, that there's a heart there. That no matter how much these characters won't admit it, it's their home, and they love it. They love it here. It'll always be their home, and there's something about it that they can't let go of. They can't get away, because it's got its hooks in them, and that's not a bad thing. As much as they say it is, they all do really love it there, as much as they say they don't. Well, what's great about Winnipeg, as opposed to many other cities in Canada, is that there's for lack of a better term, there aren't as many crews. In Montreal, there's like 50,000 crews. They don't know each other. They bicker. It's the first time they're doing things. They're a well-oiled machine here, and they're all experts at what they do, because they get most of the gigs that come into Montreal. There's only like 2 or 3 crews here, and they all know each other. So, we come to set, and it's bang, bang, bang. When they have to make a change, they've got to turn around the cameras and get the lights. It's done so quick because they all know each other. They know how each other works. and they're all so friendly. They all go out and party with each other every weekend and stuff. So we're all great friends, and I've had them since day one of this show. But most of them anyway. We changed a couple people obviously, and yeah, they're all great friends of mine. I started spending time with them. I enjoy working with them, and it's good that way because you've got a good working relationship. Whereas in somewhere like Montreal, the crew would probably have changed every year, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's just it's good to have a good relationship with every crew member, and we've been lucky enough to have that. We've had a very wide variety of different styles. I mean, just our series directors, the ones who have come back the most. You have Kelly Macon and James Dunnison, two incredibly different and both equally talented directors. Both good at finding the heart and different energies and different episodes. And the writers are true too. They know exactly what episode is best for what director. They've always been so good at planning that. And Bruce McDonald's we've had now for our second season also. Like one of the best around, right? We love Bruce, and he's got a great eye as well. It's been different to see the different styles, and then this year we had Gary Yates came on. Our first AD, Doug Mitchell, directed an episode last year and is directing one this year. He's amazing as well. And yeah, it's very different styles and very different energies, but for some reason they all get the characters almost as well as we do, and they all know exactly what to say and when to say it, even though they're all so different, which is amazing.